What's good, everybody? Rogue Hero here, and on today's video I'm going to be discussing simply the hero deck versus the meta. The reason why I want to discuss this topic is because, let's face the fact, there's not really too much going on in the Yu-Gi-Oh scene as it is, and we do have a new meta with numerons, emancipators, things like that, and a lot of you guys have been asking Chris, what do I do against the meta? So with all that being said, let's get into it. Without further ado, let's begin. So the main thing about the meta is, in general, it's a dice roll format. What do I mean by dice roll format? Dice roll format meaning like you really have to go first in order to benefit from the current meta, because if you don't go first, especially with a rogue deck like Hero, a lot of other decks like numerons, emancipators can just literally outgrind you and OTK you, and or make those big giant boards with a bunch of negates, and there's nothing you can do. So the first thing when winning with the deck, you want to make sure you're going first. Now, other than that, you also want to focus on the hand traps. Decks like Emancipator that spams out boards, or if you want to play, if they're playing like the Eldritch numeron deck, it's a little more of a slow grind game, you want to have your hand traps. A great hand trap guys can use for the current meta against numerons is Ghost Ogre. Ghost Ogre hitting the numeron field spell is very important. They can't resolve their plays. Of course, Nibiru is always a good card. Nibiru, when they do the fourth summon, to try to OTK you. Same thing goes for Emancipator, and same thing goes for Eldritch to a certain degree. Now, there's different versions of Eldritch. There's the slow, grindy version, and then there's the synchro-centric version that uses crystalline haptifacts. In my games against those, I completely just slaughtered it because I won the dice roll. But when they did go first, I was side decking in my Dark Ruler No Morris to help me out. While it does not allow me to just completely OTK them, it allows me to dig a little deeper to put their field out of commission, especially if I'm able to combo out a Dark Law on the board. And then make Trinity, I'm not dealing damage, but I'm still wiping their board, and everything's getting vanished. I mean, there's multiple different routes you guys can go with this format with Heroes. It's ridiculous. Heroes in itself is an anti-meta deck. There's not really too much thinking that should go into Heroes versus the meta. You guys just want to make sure you hopefully can go first, because if you don't go first, you're gonna have a bad time. Let's talk main deck. What do I mainly use for my main deck? My main deck, I mainly use no hand traps. I really focus on just grinding out Dark Law Plasma as fast as I can. Plasma is very key to your success because Plasma allows you to shut off the opponent's effects. So if you're able to bring out Plasma first against a deck like Numerons, there's nothing they can do. Literally, nothing any deck can do other than run over your Plasma. But like most hero players, you're gonna have Honest Neos in hand. Like, I really, as a hero player, typically when I go first, 9 times out of 10 I win. I think a lot of hero players need to get out of this notion that going second heroes is the way to go. I mean, some players have been advocating go first for a while now because of the meta, but a lot of players still want to play go second. They want to OTK because, let's face it, Heroes is, at the end of the day, still an OTK deck. You can still grind out with Trinity. You can still Mystic Mine your opponent, stall them out in the OTK, and that build is great. But I don't know about Mystic Mine. I don't use Mystic Mine. I'm not a fan of the card per se. I think it's very boring, and it doesn't really showcase what Heroes is supposed to do. And in my hero deck, I also utilize the Triple Fusion Destiny package, which, as you guys already know, if you ain't running for Fusion Destiny, in my opinion, you're not trying to win. Like, the card gives you so much advantage over the opponent. Literally, it can generate a full combo for you. It can give you your hand back. It sets up your graveyard with Malicious and Celestial. Celestial is really huge in the hero deck that allows you to grind it out. In my version of the deck, you guys can check it out right here, the iCards, I'm always typically out grinding my opponents and or keeping the grind up with the meta decks, unless they make one of those break my board or bust up fields. And usually when they do things like that, I'm either siding in Super Poly and or Dark Ruler No More to just wreck their face. So I don't really have much to say about Heroes versus the meta, honestly. It just make sure you try to go first. That's the important thing. And make sure you're main decking some hand traps. Like, like I said, I'm not main decking hand traps at this time. However, after my last tournament I went to, I did state that, I think Ghost Ogre will be really good. Now that I've seen how the Numeron deck work, that spit monsters to the board, I'm definitely heavily considering Ghost Ogre, and I'm definitely heavily considering main decking Nibiru again, because that deck is very dirty, and I do not want to deal with that crap at Locust, man. I do not. But hey, ain't really no point of stressing it out, guys, because in all honesty, there's no format really going on right now. Current situation in the world, the most we can do at locals. So I personally wouldn't stress it. I would just say see what works for you, and just play the best way to play heroes. And I think my way of playing heroes is the best. Just grinding it out, fusing destiny my opponent, send it to graveyard selection, and go for there. So tell me what you guys think about this video in the comments just down below. I typically would have shot this from my green screen, but I just downloaded some new software to my phone, so I'm about to edit this entire video on my phone. And let me know how it came out, man. This is Rogue Hero, bringing you guys another video from the car, and hopefully I'm gonna try to get some quick editing on my phone and see how this goes. And I'm signing out, man. Peace and better. Deuces.